Yo, what's up guys, it's Gibraltar back with another video on the channel. So today I'm bringing to you guys a video about one of the systems in the game that's exclusive to the mobile version. The console and PC versions do not have this system, and it makes sense that they don't have the system. It's a system they applied to the mobile version to attract mobile gamers. It makes sense, but personally I wouldn't have added the system because it's a pretty broken system. And what is the system I'm talking about? It's the perk and finisher and ability system. It's this like extra passive setup system that you unlock by playing the character, earning these tokens for that specific character, and then going through this like level up tree where you start unlocking different perks, different abilities, and the ending rewards are like these avatar frames and like avatar images, but like I don't think people really care about that. People mostly care about these things because these are what make the character a lot better than like just the base form. Like most of these characters are already really good at like base form, but once you start throwing on these, they just become like a different level. So I'm gonna explain to you guys why some of these are so broken, like what I recommend for each character, and why you should like pick one or two characters, level them up until you get some of those good perks and abilities, and then you'll be able to use them at their maximum and take full advantage of a character and their abilities in game. So usually each legend has a specific role that they play really well. You want to set up the character to either play that role much better with these extra passives, or balance the character out to suit your playstyle. So here are my recommendations for the perks, finishers, and ability passives that you unlock through leveling up for each of these characters. Starting off with Bloodhound, I recommend for the perk to go with the first one, Hunger, knocking down an enemy resets to cooldown for Eye of the Allfather. This just means you can use your tactical more often. For the second one, I recommend using Deadly Moment, or I recommend using Interrogator, the third one, which is using your finisher reveals the location of your enemy squad. This gives you and your team like knowledge of where your enemies are at, which is very valuable in BRs and shooters in general. Map knowledge, or like knowledge of where your teammates and enemies are, and knowledge of the positioning of your teammates is very valuable in shooters and especially BRs, so you and your team can like evaluate how you want to like attack them, how you need to position yourself, but like your next play is to take out that squad. An honorable mention is number one, which every single character has. Basically, using your finisher adds 100 points to your Evo shield. This just means you're going to get the red shield, which is the best shield in the game, right? You'll be able to get that faster with the first one, since if you use your finisher, you'll have an extra 100 points to your Evo shield, meaning you're going to be able to start leveling up your shield to get that red one much faster than if you were to just regularly finish someone or just start shooting someone. Then for the ability, I would go with the third one, which is basically Seer's ability, which is a legend we're going to have later on the mobile version, which basically reveals the armor and health of the enemy, which is very valuable in a battle royale. You get knowledge of your enemy's health and armor, and knowledge in a battle royale is key to winning every gunfight. So if you get that, even though you're sacrificing some of your movement speed that you would get from the ultimate, you're getting this knowledge, which is really valuable to both you and your teammates. So next we have Gibraltar. Gibraltar for the perk, I'd actually go with the first one, starting off with the shield battery and medkit. That just means right off the bat you can go for a gun, and you can just push for a kill of like whoever landed by you. You can probably go for that kill, and then you won't have to worry about healing up after because you're gonna have the shield battery and the medkit. And then for the second one, I would go with the third one, finishing an enemy restores 50 health. Your finisher already restores your shield, so on top of that, if you have this, you're going to restore that health if you lost some of it. This is mostly useful in the higher levels where most gunfights, unless like your positioning is really well, you're going to lose some health, and this can be useful in that scenario. Otherwise, I'd probably go with the first one where you're getting your Evo shield faster. Then for the third one, the ability, I'd actually go with the second one, which once again, if you use your ultimate and it hits the enemy, you're gonna get knowledge of where they're at, meaning you'll be able to position yourself and take them out much easier and much better than if you didn't know where they're at. Once again, knowledge is key in a game like this. So next is Lifeline. Lifeline for the first perk, I'd actually go with the first one, which Lifeline's role as a healer, as a support, is most of the time is to heal your teammates and support your teammates. So having something like this, which heals both you and your teammate right when you revive them, is very valuable to her role. Next, for the second one, I'd actually go with the Victor Spoils, because most of the times, personally, I don't loot too hard when I land. I get like a decent gun, decent attachments, a bit of like meds and shields, and then I just start going for kills. So this can be useful in the sense that if you finish someone, your weapon can just start upgrading naturally, and you'll like by the final few circles, you'll have like a almost kitted out gun if you're constantly using your finisher. Then for the ability, I do the first one, which just bolsters her role as a healer and as a support, where the doc, the healing bot, will follow the target that she's healing. So if your teammate starts moving around or tries to reposition to get to cover, then it'll follow and it'll continue to heal them. Or if you use it on yourself, then it'll follow you while you're moving, as long as you're not moving like way too fast. So let's say you're in a building, you pop it, and you start moving like to the floor above, it'll just follow you and continue to heal you. Next is Pathfinder. Pathfinder for the first perk, I go with the third one, which scanning a grapple or a survey beacon permanently reduces the cooldown of grappling hook. That's just very broken. Your grappling hook is your main source of movement as Pathfinder, and it's very, very good, especially in the right hands. It's very good. So using a survey beacon, which already gives you knowledge of where the next circle is, reducing the grappling hook cooldown permanently is just very, very overpowered, and just, you definitely want to be going with that. And then for the finisher, you can once again use the Evo shield for the 100 points to your Evo shield to get the red faster, or you can use the third one, which is using your finisher reveals the location of your enemy squad on the minimap. Then for the third ability, I'd actually go with the second one. If you stay airborne for a few seconds while using a grapple, which most times, most of the good players are going to be airborne for a little while, so most of the times you're going to be triggering the speed boost, which just means you're going to be able to move faster and get to cover faster or play more aggressive faster. Then next is Wraith. Wraith for the perk, I'd go with the third one. Slightly increases movement speed when not holding a weapon. This just means you can be moving around a lot faster, and if you're pushing someone, if you just quickly take off your gun, you can push a bit faster and then pull out your gun again and just go for that fight. An honorable mention is the first one, but although it does display the distance between you and your enemies, that can be like anywhere around you, right? It does alert your team that like there's an enemy nearby, but I don't know, like based on testing, I don't have like concrete evidence that that's like really, really valuable, and like I don't know how much that range extends to. Then for the second one, for the finisher, I'd probably go with the second one. Using your finisher refills the ammo. Personally, I think this is just a really, really valuable passive to have, where if you use your finisher, your gun automatically refills ammo. So if there's another person, you'll be able to take them on right away without having to reload. And if you knock this person, if there's another person, well, you have that increased reload speed to reload and take that person on as well. Personally, the third one, it is very good. It recharges your tactical, but I don't think, especially for Wraith, since right after you're finishing, you're probably going to be like kind of slow. So if you use your tactical right there, they'll probably be able to just follow the trail and just attack you anyways. And if you're not really healed up, then that can be an issue. You're just putting yourself in a worse position. And for the third one, I'd probably go with the third one, which is phase haste, which means that your movement speed within the void is increased, but the duration is decreased. I just kind of think this, like, the Into the Void is already fairly long, so I don't know exactly how much the duration is decreased by, but increasing your movement speed within this means you can move around faster, you can reposition faster, and that is very valuable. You can get to cover faster and you can heal up and then re-challenge. Then for Bangalore, for the first one, I'd go with Run and Gun, the first perk, which is when reload speed is increased. Basically, most of the time you are sprinting in this game, meaning that, let's say you're fighting someone, if you slide jump to another place and you're sprinting, your reload speed will be increased, you'll be able to reload and reposition and fight again. Personally, I don't think Fog of War or the second one are that good. Fog of War can be good if you catch your opponent in the smoke, but most of the time you're probably using the smoke to run away or just distract the enemy, right? But the second one could be good. You pop the smoke, you enter it, you trigger that double time to move around faster, and you can get to cover faster and fight again. But personally, I'd still go with Running Gun. Then for the second one, I'd go with Tactical Advantage. Once again, since you have a smoke, you can just pop the smoke, you'll be hidden, and you'll be able to recover, reheal, and re-challenge your enemy if there is one there after using your tactical, or you'll just have it to, let's say, challenge another squad that like might pull up on you. Then for the third one, I'd go with Element of Surprise. Basically, your squad has reduced footstep sounds when covered by smoke. That just overall helps the ability of the smoke to hide you and your teammates from enemies, so you can actually use the smoke to escape, or you can even use it within a building to hide your team and reduce the footstep. It's like a dead silence within the smoke, which could be very valuable in certain situations. Then next is Caustic. Caustic, for the first perk, I'd go with the Field Research, which is enemies that destroy the traps will be pinged on the map. Basically, if you set down your gas traps, if the enemy shoots them, most high-level players are probably going to shoot the smokes or shoot the gas traps. So if they shoot them, they'll be pinged on the map. You'll get this knowledge, your team, and you and your team will be able to know where they're at and challenge them or reposition accordingly. The third one could be decent, but that only works if they actually get caught in the gas, which would just give you this, which will give you like knowledge of where they're at, which is really, really valuable. But the issue is they have to get caught in the gas, which doesn't really work in higher levels of gameplay. So that's why I opted for the first one. Then for the finisher, I'd go with the third one, recharging or using your finisher charges your tactical. This just means you'll be able to pop the Nox gas trap right after you finish it. So you'll just be able to finish, put that down, and try and dip, and maybe you can catch the enemy team off guard with that. Then for the ability, I'd go with the second one, which increases the radius of the Nox gas, so a higher chance the enemy will be caught in the Nox gas grenade. But the duration will be shorter, but mostly that should be fine. Your team should be able to catch them off guard if they just get caught in the gas and pick them off. Then for Mirage, for his perk, I'd go with the second one, which is being able to revive cloaks both you and your squad mate. This is just flipping his normal passive, where if he revives someone, then you guys go invisible. Now, if your teammate revives you, you guys go invisible, which is just very, very useful to revive yourself, or and get out of like sticky situations. Then for the finisher, I'd go with the third one, which is using your finisher creates a decoy and cloaks you for 2 seconds or until you shoot. Basically, right when you use your finisher, you'll be able to go invisible for a second, and that just means you can escape, reposition, and heal up while, like, let's say the enemy's teammate comes to like find them. Then for the third one, I'd go with the Bamboozle Cloak, the third one, which is losing a decoy turns you invisible. Once again, turning invisible, especially when you just lose a decoy, is really, really good, because Mirage has a lot of decoys, so you'll just be able to go invisible and reposition or like catch the enemy team off guard, stuff like that. Then for Octane, which is my main character, personally, for the first perk, I go with the Vominos, the second one, which is when your armor shatters, you gain a speed boost. In higher levels of gameplay, you're gonna take fights where you're losing your armor a lot of the times. That's why shield batteries and shield cells are very useful. So when your armor shatters, if you get a speed boost, that means you can reposition or play a bit more aggressive accordingly, depending on the situation, and that can just be very useful for such an aggressive character such as Octane. Then for this finisher, I'd actually use the second one, which is, once again, I explained that, like, if you finish someone, if it automatically refills your ammo, then you'll be able to take on their teammates right away if you see them. But once again, you can also use the Evo shield if you're trying to go for that red shield a lot faster. Then for the third one, hands down, I'd say just go with the first one. Using your stem cancels any movement penalties and increases your climbing speed. I think for this, the first part of the sentence is the main thing. It cancels movement penalties, so movement penalties, meaning jump fatigue and slide fatigue, is cancelled out. So whenever you have that, you can just pop the stim and you'll be able to go at full speed again. And the climbing speed can be useful for maneuvering around your enemies and repositioning to challenge them in a better position. Personally, I'd use that. I don't have the third one, so I can't really test it. Don't know how good that would be, because you can technically just stim yourself and stay stimmed forever, but like, I don't think that's really that like optimal for most gunfights. Then lastly, for Fade, I don't have Fade unlocked yet, but he looks like a really, really fun character, and based on like what I've seen, personally, this is what I recommend. I'd say for his perk, I'd go with the first one. Basically, exiting the phase space, which is like the void type thing that he has. It triggers Surge, which is his like speed boost, meaning you'll be able to reposition faster and you'll be able to get that speed boost to play more aggressively or get to cover quicker. Then for his finisher, I'd go with his third one, which once again, refilling your ammo, you'll be able to take someone out if they push you while you're doing your finisher, and you'll be able to reload quicker right after that as well. Then for the last ability, I'd go with the first one. It just sounds very broken, like your tactical ability, which is this flashback. You just go back like to a while ago when you're in the void, which is already very, very powerful. But on top of that, if it regens your shields a little bit, that's very, very, very powerful, especially when shields are very important in this game. So yeah, that's been my recommendations for the perks, finishers, and ability passives. These absolutely like really, really powerful passives on all these characters. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys have any like differing thoughts on the abilities, if you've tested some of them and know that like some of them are like buggy, or like maybe they don't work as like I thought they intended to, you guys could correct me down in the comment section below, and comment down below what setup you guys are running on and which character you're maining. So I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of interesting. I know personally that I've just been playing Octane, sometimes Wraith, but most of the time just Octane. But I've genuinely been enjoying this game. I'm still trying to push up ranked. I just haven't really gotten to play the game in the last couple of days because I've been playing Elden Ring. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.